So here we have a man agent. Comes with his own tree already, capable of doing the stand action, the walk action, the actions that transition between those two, and a couple of blends for the walk. Right away, if you hit Alt F for camera follow and then play, the agent starts walking. And that's because walk is set as the default action. Notice the tree default action is walk. If you click on the walk action, the default button is down. If you want to make another action the default action, click on that action, such as stand, and click default. Now the stand, when we reset and play this sim, will be the default action. Now what we really want to do is we want to trigger these actions from the brain. And in order to do that, we need to see what the names of the triggers and blends are. So the stand action is triggered by the stand trigger, as well as these two actions that go into the stand pose. So all these three actions all have the same trigger, stand. The walk action has the trigger walk, as does the stand to walk action, which goes into the walk pose. Also notice that we have latches, right foot and left foot, that determine which of these actions are taken depending on which phase of the walk we're in. And if we take a quick look at the latches in tree latches, we see that each of these latches refers to a different phase of the walk action and lets us know which next action to take out of these two. And that's automatic, and we don't need to refer to that in the brain at all. Meanwhile, we can look at these blends, and these blends each have their own blend activator. This one is called 45R, and this one is called 45L. Now if we're going to go into the brain, we create a couple of output nodes with the names of those triggers, stand and walk. These refer to the trigger names and not to the action names. So if we were to just run the sim as is, the action will be stand, because we set the default action of the tree to stand and neither of these is on. Now if we were to turn on the walk output node to some degree, agent would begin to walk. And the value of that is 0.78 right now. If we were to turn up the stand trigger at the same time, at 0.72 nothing happens. When we put it at a higher value than walk, now the agent will stand. So whichever trigger has the highest value is the one that will trigger actions. So let's turn this back down and get the agent walking again. And we want to add the 45L blend. So we would do that with another output channel, and we would give it the name of that blend activator, 45L. And as I turn this up, we get more and more degree of that action blended on top of the walk. So we can use various degrees of this 45L blend in order to get different levels, different angles of sidestepping. Now let's assign timer to these actions. So we'll just make this timer go up and down. So the degree of his sidestepping changes over the course of 1 second. And let's also add a timer to walk. So about half the time it'll be greater than stand and it'll be triggered, and about half the time it'll be less than stand and stand will be triggered instead. And let's slow this timer down a bit so it's not happening quite over 1 second. So the agent starts to walk and starts to stand. Let's slow that down even more. And now, as it's running, let's go back and look at the tree. You can see that the tree shows which action is running and where we are on it. And that as the blend becomes active, it becomes highlighted. Right now we're in stand, and we're about to go into stand to walk. The current action and the next action to be activated always appear with their letters in red, and the yellow dot indicates where we are in the action. And something else we might want to be aware of is what the agent is doing right now to get some output from the tree into the brain. And we do that with these outputs. So we notice that walk action has an output called moving. And we'll just make that on just that action right now. If we had a jog action and a run action, we might also assign it the output moving. And that way the agent's brain would know when the agent was moving and would only turn the agent when it was moving, because we don't want the agent turning while he's standing. So if we go back to the brain, we can see the effect of that output by creating an input node and put the name of that tree output into this brain input node. So it's output coming from the tree going into the brain. So the name was moving, and it's off right now, but as the agent begins to walk, it turns on. And once the agent stops walking, it will turn off. So this indicates to us that the agent is moving, and it can be used in brain processing to only activate certain kinds of outputs when the agent's moving, and not activate them when the agent's not. Finally, when you're satisfied with your agent, you save the agent as mantree.cdl, and you have an agent that activates its actions from the brain.